Hi everyone, this video is gonna be about the Dark Night of the Soul, and basically I just want to talk a little bit more about the Dark Night of the Soul and basically kind of what's my experience of it. So basically, the Dark Night of the Soul, and that's kind of that energy what I feel is that I kind of feel like I'm stuck. I kind of feel like I'm in a rut. It's a very low, like, I feel kind of depressed. I feel lonely. I feel like I'm all alone in this world, and that it almost makes you feel like, why am I here? There's no one here that is like me, and I feel so misunderstood and like an outcast, and no one gets me, and it's kind of like a feeling of, um, you can have you can be triggered a lot. You can have a lot of anxiety. You can even have anxiety attacks where you're just 1 minute, you're just triggered by something very, you 1 minute you'll be like brushing your hair, and then all of a sudden you'll just get triggered, and then you'll just explode, and you'll just say things that you don't mean, but it's just like a anxiety attack, sort of. And it's almost kind of like, it can feel like a mental breakdown, like you're losing your mind, like your brain is off balance. Almost feels like your brain is like literally off balance, and you don't know what to do, and you don't know who to talk to about it, and kind of um you don't really like understand what's going on. You may even go to see a psychologist, and you may even go to the doctor because you were so confused about what's going on, because last month you were in a very good place, and all of a sudden it's like you're questioning everything. And with the Dark Night of the Soul, you tend to question everything. I mean, you question, like, basically with the Dark Night of the Soul, it's what I also consider a transition period from the old into the new, because you can't just jump into one vibration to the next. There has to be a transition period. Has to be like, just like a caterpillar can't just become a butterfly. There's not just magically it's a butterfly, like, instant, like caterpillar, and then the next step butterfly. Like, just like with vibration shift, you can't just get from one vibration to the next, and there has to be kind of a transition period. And usually that's the Dark Night of the Soul, because with the Dark Night of the Soul, it's you cleansing a lot of these lower emotions that were in your old vibration, because in this new vibration you can't have any of that huge those that burdens and that baggage from that old vibration and those old beliefs, because you just it wouldn't really work out. Just like with a closet, if your closet has so much old clothes, how are you going to fit new clothes if it's literally jammed packed with old clothes? You can't fit new clothes. It will just make it even more messier and make it even more cluttered if you add new stuff to old stuff. And with energy, it's good to clear out your energy when you're entering a new vibration. The way to clear that is to get rid of those things. And even in that in a new higher vibration, um it's like you gotta, in that those old beliefs will not no longer work, will now no longer function right in that new vibration. It's like it just, and if you try to make it work, if you try to live with those lower emotional beliefs or things like that, your it will your vibration won't hold. You won't be able to hold at that vibration. You'll just go back down. You won't be able to hold that new higher vibration. So basically, in this Dark Night of the Soul, um, it's basically, you can't go to the past. You refuse to live in the past. You refuse to kind of go back there, because you know that it no longer serves you, and you've kind of know that you don't want to go back there anyway, because it just doesn't serve you, and it doesn't bring you that bliss and that peace that you deserve, and that old past stuff, it just no longer works. It's just like old friends that you've outgrown. It's like you can't be friends with them anymore, because they're you guys are no longer get each other, no longer compatible, no longer understand each other. It's like you're talking to someone that you don't really know, anymore because they've changed and you've changed, and now when you look at them, to you, they don't seem like your highest good anymore. So you can't really be friends with as you would want to, but it's like you can't stay stuck, you can't stay stagnant, you have to keep progressing, keep moving forward. And if you feel like a person, a relationship, a friendship, and circumstances keeping you back and keeping you stuck in a stagnant energy in a rut, you know that that's not for your highest good. We're not meant to be in a rut. We're not meant to live in stagnant energy, because source energy is about movement, forward movement, progress, ascension, not flatline, just blah, just nothingness, And with the Dark Night of the Soul, it does feel like you're kind of in a period of nothingness. It's like, with my experience, it's like you don't really know what's going on with the future. It's like everything seems uncertain, and it's with Dark Night of Soul, if you are consciously self-aware of the Dark Night of the Soul, like if you literally know what the Dark Night of the Soul is, and you kind of recognize when it comes, if you're at that level of awareness where you can recognize when you're going through the Dark Night of the Soul, and when your life is shifting, when you're consciously aware of your being and what's taking place, with your physical energy, like when you're shifting, when you're ending a new vibration, when it's time to let go, when it's time to kind of change your life and go in a new direction. When you're consciously aware of what you need to do, and you're consciously aware of your intuition, your higher self, and things like that, you do get signs through, like, it could be visions, it could be dreams, it could be feelings where you just feel like you don't know. There's no signs, there's no, like, proof, but a sign, like, it's like a feeling where you just know things are going to work out, and you feel like something great is on the horizon. You can feel like something positive is very close, but it just seems uncertain because there's no evidence, there's no proof around you, because you're in that nothingness, the Dark Night of the Soul, and it feels like nothing is happening for you. Like you just came out of that old life and you refuse to go back to that old life because that's just a no-no. But that new life, that door isn't open yet. It's like you're staring at the door and the door is not open yet. So you're kind of just sitting there, and you're kind of just like, what's going on? Like, I'm just sitting here in this, you almost feel like you're in this box, this claustrophobic box, kind of like the caterpillar in the cocoon. The caterpillar is actually changing a lot, but through a physical eye viewpoint, the caterpillar feels like he's stuck in this box, this cocoon that is like wall to wall, suffocating. I want to get out. I feel trapped. I feel lonely. I'm sure you feel lonely, especially in that cocoon thing. But you're shifting. You're being like the caterpillar in the cocoon. His whole entire physical body is changing, and he's becoming something else entirely. He's transforming. And that's what the Dark Side of the Soul is, kind of. You're transforming, but on a viewpoint, when you're in that cocoon, when you're in that claustrophobic box and you feel lonely and you feel scared and you don't know what's going on, sometimes you don't recognize that you're really changing. But when you're out of that cocoon, out of that dark night of the period, you can see everything clear. And with that caterpillar new state, you're free. And it is a sense of freedom, and there's a sense of, like, you're in the new. And when you're in the new, it's like you can realize how important that Dark Night of the Soul stage was, because you needed to go through that transition period, because it is just something you had to go through to help you clear that old emotions. And through clearing, a lot of expressing your feelings through writing, like writing how you're feeling, like, I feel really down today, I feel like my life isn't going anywhere today, I feel like I'm constantly battling my ego. Like, writing is very good, and drawing is very good. Just do things to keep your vibration high and to keep yourself going through the Dark Night of the Soul, but in healthy ways, doing healthy therapeutic ways, so you're not freaking out at people, so you're not having anxiety attacks, so you're not, throwing darts at people and yelling at people, because that can happen if you kind of are not checking yourself. If you're not checking yourself, constantly checking your ego, you can have outbursts and freakouts and like frustrations that come out of nowhere, and anger that comes out of nowhere, and fear that comes out of nowhere. And like with me, I was triggered, and when it's like kind of like a body issue thing, and I didn't even know I had that. I was like, I didn't really know I had a deep insecure body issue with my body. And when I was triggered, I was like, what? Like, I was very much triggered. I was crying, and I was just like, I'm ugly and I'm fat and blah blah blah. But really, it was a trigger because that evidently that I wasn't consciously aware that was still in me, and it needed to come out. It needed to come out because that's something that was evidently really, I felt it was really buried within my being. Because when it came out, it was like out of nowhere. And I've never really had like a meltdown like that over my body. Like a body issue of feeling fat or, ugly. And that really, when that trigger came, it really showed me that, whoa, I do have some insecurities that are still in me. And that, yes, I have transformed, but there are other areas that need to transform. It's like your whole being needs to transform, not just one aspect of your beingness, but there's several aspects to who you are and who you were. And because when you're living in an old life for so long, in that old in that old period of your life, which for me was high school, when I was in that very long period, when you're going into the new period, when you're in that period for so long, there needs to be a lot of work that needs to be done internally to be able to hold that new higher 5D vibration. Because with me, with this dark night of the soul, I know the next level is going to be a very high vibrational living. And I can feel it because I'm living it right now. But while I'm living in that more 5D high vibrational living, I know that there are going to be some things triggered because I haven't fully entered that new life, that physical external vibrational life. My higher self and my energy has kind of aligned with that new life, but it's not quite there yet. My vibration is aligned, but my external is not physically, I guess, manifesting into my physical life because, my higher self and our guides, they want the best for us. And if they know that there's still some things within us maybe buried and we're not consciously aware, but our subconscious mind knows, our higher self wants those things to come out, wants those emotions to come out, and wants us to clear, because when it comes out, it's like it comes out and it like goes away. When those emotions come out, it's like it comes out of you, your energy, and it just evaporates into nothingness, and it's like almost getting rid of, baggage and burdens, and it makes you lighter. It makes your energy lighter, and when your energy's lighter, it becomes higher vibrational wise. When you get rid of all that 3D, earthly concept stuff, belief stuff, you become lighter, and your vibrational becomes lighter, higher. So basically, with Dark Night of the Soul, especially if you're going through it and you can really feel like you really know something is really on the horizon for you and that something's really about to change. Because if you're consciously aware of the Dark Night of the Soul and you're aware you're going through it, and you know that your ego is kind of dying down, because that's what the Dark Night of the Soul is, your ego in a higher vibrational living where your higher self and you become one. Your higher self is basically you. You're living your higher self. Your ego needs to be dormant. Your ego cannot be active because there's not enough room for you to be living in your higher self and living your ego, because love and fear are it's just doesn't mesh. Love and fear are not they don't mesh together, But with the Dark Night of the Soul, you can't ignore those feelings, and you kind of just let yourself feel depressed. You can't be like, oh, I'm depressed, I need to do whatever I can, I need to distract myself so I don't feel depressed, because being depressed means I'm in a place of negativity, and I'm a spiritual being, and I can't be negative at all. No, you have to allow yourself to go, you have to allow yourself to go through those negative feelings, because if you ignore them, if you do whatever you can to distract yourself or to ignore the problem, or to just like, oh, I don't have body issues, oh no I don't, that's not something, you're just digging a bigger hole inside yourself to bury that issue deeper inside of you, and you're only delaying your new life. You're only delaying that external new vibrational living life. And I know sometimes I did feel like I can't be negative. I can't be negative because I'm a spiritual being and I'm trying to live high vibrational living. But in this world, in this physical world, we have an ego, and sometimes the ego can build beliefs within us that are not for our highest good and that are not high vibration. So when we do raise our vibration, that clutter in our energy has to get rid of, be gone, and a lot of that those emotions, when they come up, it's like buried emotions like fear, frustration, anger, disappointment, regret, beliefs about marriage, beliefs about yourself, beliefs about the world, beliefs about your life purpose, beliefs about your family, beliefs about how life should be, like old beliefs that no longer work because you've shifted. So everything around you, all your ideas have shifted to a new vibrational awareness, that when you are reaching a 5D vibration, it's like your higher self becomes you are your higher self, and it's like everything's clear and you're living higher vibrational living, 5D. And with that, there has to be that dark night of the soul, because you have to, it's just kind of like in the cocoon, you just have to get rid of that junk. It's junk. It's earthly junk. Earthly 3D material beliefs and junk that is an illusion, but you've been living in that illusion for so long, in that lower vibrational living, that you kind of got accustomed to and you got used to it and you kind of accepted it as your reality. But now with the dark night of the soul, you're like, okay, that's why you're questioning everything, because it's like, this isn't real. This is not real. And when you're doing that, you feel frustration, you feel anger, like, oh my God, what's going on? I don't know what's going on. I just feel very depressed. I have outbursts. I have anxiety attacks. I'm screaming and yelling at people that I love, and I don't know why. It can be like that. It can be very frustrating, but you just gotta let yourself go through it. And if you're surrounded by people, you good people, they will understand. Because we're all gonna go through it. Especially people who are ascending and people who want to just be all that it can be and want to become one with their higher self and want their higher self to be them. Which you technically are your higher self, but in this world, some people can get so far away from their higher self. Like the veil between them and their higher self can be so thick and so dense and so thick that it almost like they're two separate people. And that can happen. It's just people who want to ascend and want to continue to raise their vibration are going to everyone's technically going to go through the dark night of the soul, because we're all spiritual beings and our higher self wants to ascend, because that's the point. We want to grow as beings, want to grow as people, want to grow, no one wants to be in a rut, no one wants to be in stagnant energy. So especially our higher self doesn't want that. Our higher self wants change and progress. So basically, the dark night of the soul, with me, you just gotta allow yourself to go through it, and gotta be gentle with yourself, and don't be down on yourself, and don't get frustrated with yourself, and don't be hard on yourself when maybe you have anxiety attacks, or maybe you say something to someone that you didn't mean, but it was out of like a frustration outburst and kind of a panic, almost like a panic attack. Just be gentle on yourself and do whatever you can. It's to communicate. It's very good if you're with, it's very good to communicate to others what you're going through. And if they are people who really love you and care about you and really love you, care about you as a soul and a being who will always be there and love you unconditionally, they will understand. They will always understand. So it's very good to communicate, very good, because if you hold in your feelings, that's definitely, it's it's gonna cause more. It's like a buildup, like a buildup, like in a pipe or whatever. The buildup, you know, water's coming, bubble, it builds up and it eventually bursts. And when it bursts, the explosion is 100 times larger than if you let these mini bursts come out. You know, if you allow these mini panic attacks, mini anxiety attacks to come out naturally. If you just hold it in, like I can't let it out because I don't want people to see me as a negative person, then you're gonna have that one big explosion, or it's just you're gonna delay your new life, you know. That's why it's good to just let it come out and just let those, and be very communicative, you know, especially with people who really love you and care about you, like your parents or your husband or your wife or your brother, your sister, someone who you know it will be there no matter what. Love unconditional, who loves you unconditional. You have to communicate, and that's what I've learned. You have to express yourself, and you have to really talk. You know, you have to really much do whatever you can to communicate. Communicating is definitely what I would say the key, because when you communicate, a part of you, it's like an ease. When you release like something, and when you let people know around you what you're going through, they can be aware. So then when they sense you're having an anxiety attack or an outburst, they can recognize it and they can help you. And they understand you. And they understand what's taking place. And a lot of times when you have outbursts with people and they don't understand, they just think that they can, you know, when they don't understand, they think of their own perception of what's going on with you. But if you just tell them what's going on with you, they won't make up their own ideas of what's going on with you. That usually isn't accurate, or could be, but sometimes it's not. So it's better just to tell them so they know, so they don't have to guess about what's going on with you because you're being secretive. So basically, that's all I'm going to say, I guess, right now about the Dark Night of the Soul. I just want to talk about it a little bit because I feel myself kind of going through a little bit of it. Have been for like, I guess, 3 days. And I feel that I'm going through this because something is really on the horizon. Something is really about to shift externally, because I feel I've internally shifted so much. But I feel now I'm perfect and I'm in alignment with this new life. But now this new life is starting to really manifest externally for me. This creation that I've been trying to manifest subconsciously and consciously for many years now, you know, like in preparation. I've been preparing for this new life for a very long time. And now this new life is finally on the verge of manifesting. I got to get rid of these, you know, these tiny little things. That's why for me it's like a mini Dark Night of the Soul, because I still have these very, you know, these little things I need to, you know, clear away. It's not much for me, because a lot of that was months ago. But there's just these little tiny things that just need to be getting rid of, you know, so I can be perfect in alignment, so my soul and my vibration can be, you know, so my higher self wants the best for me, so I can have that new life, that new manifestation, and I can live it and not have to worry about any attachments to the past. So I can just live in that now, and that external new manifestation that I've been creating for so long. And I can live in it, and that I won't have anything that ties me to the past, that drags me down to that lower vibration. So I'll be officially, which I am right now. I definitely am right now in that 5D, very high vibrational living. It's just, with life, you constantly have to clear, and then clear, and then clear, and then clear again, and then clear again, because this is Earth. So the one thing that will be constant variable is clearing and change. So I hope you guys like this video, and I hope you guys learned a lot about what the Dark Night of the Soul is, and my ideas and my experience. So bye, you guys.